Yeah. How we doing? This is gonna be part two of the memories I've been feeling led to share, and like goes along with the message of don't let them get you down. And I'm making some breakfast right now. Some cabbage. Look at this beautiful cabbage. So last night my video got cut short because storage is seemingly just always an issue nowadays, even if it who cares, whatever. Gotta be flexible. That's the name of the game when you're a targeted individual. You have to not care, even though whatever. This beautiful cabbage right now. Like, this is gorgeous. Oh my god, it's gonna be so yummy. I'm gonna like do steamy stuff and then put it with some eggs and like potatoes. But a couple of the memories I've been feeling led to share. One of them was the one from last night about my stepmom sharing with me that life isn't fair. Which is true. And to be expected. The second memory I was feeling really led to share. Oh my god, Gouda. That's not the memory. Gouda is really yummy. I don't think I need much more cabbage. Is that, and I can't stop thinking about it, actually. A little bit of background. What made me think of this memory is that acting class I took. And the teacher said, you don't have to do, he was giving me tips on how to be a better actress. And I think what I was doing, which is common for a lot of beginning novice actors, is feeling the need to do a lot. But really, what he was trying to tell me is just read the lines. Don't have all this extra with it. The facial expressions, the extra, the fake thoughts that I can see you having. Don't have fake thoughts. Just read the lines. Just read the lines. I don't think you realize how powerful you are, just like your presence. So I was like, oh, okay. And then we did another take, and it was like 700 times better, like 600 times better. So kind of like less is more. And then what I kind of learned from that too in acting is that like you're being yourself as the actor, but you're reading the lines as the character. You don't have to like. It was such an interesting, mind-blowing lesson about how to be a better actor. Because kind of what I took away from it is like basically you're yourself, and you don't need to like overdo it. And like actors sometimes will like overdo it, but really less is more, like more subtle nuance and stuff. So I was like, okay. Anyway, that's what made me think of the memory. From when I was like, 19. And I fell in love hard when I was 19 with an ex-boyfriend. And I mean, like it was beautiful. Like, when you're just really young, he was my second, like, big love. My first was my high school sweetheart. And he and I dated for literally from freshman year to senior year. So, I met second love of my life when I was 19. No, I met him like in middle school in youth group. But then we like started to hang out and talk and stuff when I was 19. And we started to date, and I became his girlfriend for like just a short while, and then I went off to Portland State University, and I had to go to college. So, but there was this one night where we were all camping with friends. It was one of those summers, where we just had a blast and did the summer stuff. Spontaneous camping trips. And Oregon's, iconic for camping and hiking. And this one night we like jumped into the lake, and it was it was kind of scary. It was like we went skinny tipping, and we swam out to the buoy, and 19, I think he was around that age too. I can't remember if he was older or younger than me. I'm actually getting a lot of really, really fond feelings as I reshare this story, because that love was one that like changed me. Like, and I'm like, my life is better for having had the opportunity to love him. And then we even like dated like a couple years later again and tried again, and so like one of those like loves you never forget. You know, just, that's beautiful. It's life. And we swam out to the buoy, and for hours we kind of like put our weight on the buoy, like both sides, and we were just the moonlight, the organ. It was subtle. It's called Saddle Lake. And there was like the moonlight coming in. It was like just us in this entire lake. We swam all the way out to the buoy. Like, I can't believe we were so fearless. Like, it was kind of scary because it was like a pitch black lake, and we just like jumped off the dock, and so much fun, so beautiful. And we swam all the way out to the buoy. I think I jumped in first, and I remember being scared, but I was trying to impress him and think like, I'm not scared of the pitch black lake I'm just jumping into. And for hours we just waited and put our body weight on the buoy, and just kind of were letting the lake do its thing. And you know, like that sound when you're on the dock and the water's just kind of like lapping up against the wood, and it was kind of like that but against the buoy. And we just talked and got to know each other, and for hours we just... Cabbage is so cool. Look at, like, when I do this, it like gets more purple. But it's like cabbage. This is really... I found like a new grocery fruit and produce store, like exclusively fruit and produce, because I'm trying to like go back to like vegetarian and veganism. I'm slowly making the transition, so, and it feels really, really good. Like, I have so much more energy. I don't feel depressed with like dead spirit body meat, like dead spirit, dead body animal carcasses in my digestive tract anymore. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. And it just smells so good. I'm so excited. For hours, we just sat and waited in the water, got to know each other. And I ended up writing a poem about that night and then gave it to him in a frame for his birthday. And it was just beautiful, right? So that's like the story of how we got to know each other and kind of like honestly fell in love at the buoy. And then remember how I mentioned that we met in we originally knew each other all the way from middle school and youth group. So we went to church together and stuff. We had the same church. And one of my youth pastors, his name's Dan, and he passed away just one summer ago. And he's such a sweet youth pastor. He was the oldest youth pastor there, like 80 or 85, or really old, but like very active and like very healthy, and came to every youth group session and kind of watched me grow up. Because I've been going. That was like my family's church and stuff, you know, from 6th grade to all the way through high school. So, 19, come 19, I graduated high school. I was getting over the heartbreak of the high school sweetheart. 19 in the summer, and it was a Sunday morning. We went to church. We went to church, and we finished the session, and he and I were just new couple, like, so very still like honeymoon stage, and very happy to be in each other's presence and all that, really good vibes. And I remember Dan, and we had a close relationship with Dan. My family would go over to his house, because he lived 15 minutes away, and we do blackberry picking and make pies, like blackberry pies, and because he had all blackberries, and people of the church would do that because he had so many blackberries that he was just like, you guys want to come and pick some blackberries. Like, they're all growing, they're all ripe and ready to be picked. So I remember I got like this big bowl of blueberries once, or blackberries. So like, we're close with this guy, right? And so he knows me. And we finished church, and Caleb and I were walking out, my ex-boyfriend, we were walking out of the auditorium, or like, whatever you call it, like the church stage. I'm blanking on that word right now, but you know what I mean, like where you have sermons. And Dan was standing there, and we were just like, we were walking out, and then we're like side by side, and then Dan said, "Make sure you take care of her. That is a very powerful woman. Make sure you take care of her. Make sure you take care of her." Because he could see that we were just dating and stuff. And like, you know, he watched me grow up. So he's kind of like, you know, sweet like that. And like, you know, wants to see the best for me. And he said, make sure you take care of her. That is a very powerful woman. And I was like all dressed up, wearing heels, like makeup done and everything. And I remember my ex-boyfriend, like, he was standing right here, and his arm is around me, and like, so like, and he like did this, like, you know, like putting his arm around me, and then like as dance, and then he was like, "Oh, I know," and then did this, and like kind of like comforted me, and like was like supportive. It was like such a sweet moment. But I was at the time I was like, what? I was like, what's happening? Like, I remember taking it in and like pretending. I remember he and I were both standing there like being so proud to like be each other's boyfriend, girlfriend. And it's just like a memory that stuck with me, and then it kind of was like brought back to my mind when I took that acting class the other day, and he was like, "I don't think you realize how powerful just your presence is, so you don't need to do all this extra acting stuff, just kind of be you and read the lines, but also like be the character, like, but you don't need to like overdo and overcompensate with like facial expressions." Because I did watch my reels, and I realized how much I like move my mouth, which it's like a whole nother thing. It's like a whole nother level to like watch how you move. You're like, when you watch your own tapes of like yourself acting, you really learn how you look and talk and move. So, and that's the whole point of this class, is to get better at self-awareness on camera, acting on camera. And I remember he like kind of like did this, like put his arm around me and like kind of like was like, "Oh, I know," and then he was like super sweet and like, "Oh, I know, she's powerful," and then I was like, so I bring that up to share that we kind of like forget that we have this power that sits in here that's always there. And we go through different trials and tribulations in life that kind of like make us forget like where our power lies in just being our present selves. And the more that you are just yourself, the more magnetic you are. I'm gonna let this. I'm gonna cut up some bell peppers too, because I think that sounds really nummy. Okay. Yes, right. And so the point of this video too is like, it's like part 2 of you know, don't let them get you down. And for anyone who's like feeling discouraged about when is my like breakthrough gonna come through, like mine hasn't come through yet, but it's like right around the corner. Like everything's gonna change. It's gonna be like really beautiful, and it's because I never gave up faith. So like that same woman who just touched the robe of Jesus and she was healed, and he said, your faith has saved you. Go on your way in peace.
That's the mentality that we must have in order to receive our blessings. God's not going to reward children of his that are like letting spirits of bitterness operate in their hearts. God's going to reward children that have an imagination and belief no matter what, a steadfast faith, a faith that doesn't get knocked off its track when adversity hits. It's easy to be nice to others when life is nice to you. No problem, right? You ever notice on payday when you're just like a little bit extra peppy steppy and your steppy step pep? You're just like a little bit, oh, no problem. Yeah, I'll tip 20% instead of 15. Like, because you're like we have to, like when you have more resources, you're more flowy with that compassion. But real strength, real faith is steadfast even when things are hard. You're still putting out kindness to your neighbors in that interaction. You're still offering, oh, do you need a hand with anything? Offering help, little moments of kindness, even when you feel really low, even when you feel really bitter about things not working out. That's being a child of God, and he uses us. My wrist kind of hurts. He uses us to uplift others when just like listen to that voice that's going on in here. He will use you like a vessel if you let him, and he'll reward you for listening and obeying. That's like the strength and the power of having really obedient mindset, and always making sure to give gratitude. So if you're struggling with a heart posture that's, you want to improve it and you want to have a more open heart and being open to love, forgiving is so powerful. And I've experienced quite a bit of betrayal. That's why, like last night, I was watching the 8 things that happened to you after experiencing betrayal trauma. And something that really stuck out to me and was really, really powerful was like, wow, acceptance doesn't mean approval. It just means like you acknowledge reality. Like I was like, whoa, that's really strong. So I was like, okay, cool. Like there's been a couple of friends who like didn't give me the credit or whatever, and been acting different and weird and say things like, it's been really nice knowing you. And I'm like, are we not friends anymore? Like after I've done things in my life where I like said I would do, like go to New York and do stand-up comedy, it's like they have to separate themselves from you once you've done what you said you were going to do, because it forces them to face the things in their life that they said that they would do and they haven't done yet, or the things that they dream of doing but they haven't made the steps to do it yet. And so talking to you is painful for them. And so that's why I think like some friends of mine have said, it's been nice knowing you. And I'm like, did we get into a fight that I don't know about? Why are you letting me go when I'm in the peak of my moment of celebration? What? This is painful. That those moments of betrayal, it's been nice knowing you. I've received that from a couple of people. I'm like, why are you letting me go in the peak of my wanting to be celebrated? I don't. So it's really just, it'll affect, and that's the type of thing that the devil will use. Your closest friends, your family members, to get you to betray your faith with God. I'm gonna keep my. I'm gonna make sure my bell peppers. I'm gonna add bell peppers. The cabbage takes a while to like. What do you call it? I should add water to the cabbage. So don't let any of the hard stuff you go through let that betray your faith in God. We're gonna call it good at like 20 minutes here, and then I'll do part 3 and share the third memory of the third memory that I feel led to share, and I can't like stop thinking about. But basically, don't let them get you down, and like you are more powerful than you think. You're stronger than you think. It's really beautiful. Like, everything we go through that doesn't kill us really does make us stronger. If you embrace the challenges and if you have faith in a beautiful heart posture and you don't become bitter. Because you realize if you have like a little bitterness and you're really struggling to forgive some things that people have done to you, and when you forgive them, it doesn't mean that you're saying that everything they did was okay. Absolutely not. That's probably why you're having a hard time forgiving them. Gotta do my brows, y'all. It's okay. It's just us. And it like leaves a little mark on my thing. What it means though is that you have enough love for yourself to recognize that other people are gonna mess up sometimes, even if you were counting on them and relying on them and expected more of them. And it doesn't mean that you approve of their actions or the behavior or how they treated you. It means that you are acknowledging reality of it is what it is. I'm going to use radical acceptance in this moment and use my heart that's full of love for myself and extend it to them to forgive them. And it's so powerful because then you open up more doors, open up more space for opportunities. It's a beautiful life. We just have to practice that powerful perspective. And love prevails all. Love always, 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 always prevails all. It's the strongest force in the entire universe. Good morning. I hope this is like a positive morning note for any of y'all who follow my channel, all that good stuff. And I hope you have a great day. Stay tuned for part 3 of Don't Let Them Get You Down. Okay, peace.